Hi, welcome again to Depth, Not Just Headlines with me, Deborah Anderson. So, one of the industries that was really hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic is the shipping industry. And the shipping industry, meaning cruise ships, cargo ships, all the vessels that travel the oceans of the world. I'm referring to all of those. And the thing about it is that the marine liability insurers are expecting to be hit with billions of dollars in claims. And we know what that will mean for those ship owners, right? And for those people sent shipping cargoes, for those people who will be taking cruises. It also means that the protection and indemnity insurance will increase. There's no if and nor but about that. It will definitely increase because the moment these insurance entities are hit with these claims, they in turn will put the cost back on these vessels. So I'm just encouraging everyone to prepare for that. It has not yet been officially announced, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that once one entity is badly affected and they're connected, of course, there's going to be a domino effect, right? So the 13 entities that are referred to as clubs that make up the international group of um, protection and indemnity insurers, right? Or in protection and indemnity clubs, they actually cover 90% of the vessels that go across the oceans, just those 13 clubs, right? And it's not all of them that cover cruise ships. So one thing we're sure of is that there will be a lot of claims from cruise ships, right? But we also need to look at those fine prints and to see exactly what is covered, because in the fine print you will see that if a disaster did not actually occur on the ship, even though it may have impacted your cruise, you can claim for that. But even though it's not something to be happy about, the ships actually had people falling sick on there, dying on there. They had to put in place quarantine measures, right? And all of these actually fall under their protection and indemnity insurance. So as soon as these claims start pouring into the cruise ship owners, they in turn will be making their claims to these marine insurance. And as I stated earlier, it's going to come back to bite many of us. A lot of people are already booking cruises. I did some research and I see that usually this is done in July, August, for the following year. But we're now in May and people are already booking cruises for 2021 like hot bread. But we'll be following up with this just to see what has been happening in terms of the pricing. Has the tax aspect of it, if because of the protection and indemnity insurance situation, if we're going to see a spike in cruise shipping or cost for cruises. Okay, so I just wanted to update you all on that. We're not sure of the what the figure is at this point in time. We're still trying to investigate how much, right, these marine insurers are going to have to pay out to all the different vessels that were impacted, because we're not just talking about the cruisers, we're talking about crew members too. You had crew members who fell ill, you had crew members who were stuck at sea and were unable to see their families, you had so it's just a wide array of people that were impacted by this work on the ocean, right? So one thing though, the most obvious source of COVID-19 related claims, as I had mentioned earlier, are going to be the cruise ships, right? But of course, the amount being paid out is not going to be balanced because, again, it's based on what is covered, and a lot of things aren't covered. So if you were on a cruise, I would suggest that you get with your lawyer, or you just start doing your own research to find out what is covered, what isn't. Look at how impacted you were, and if the whatever effects the virus had on you during your time of cruising, if this is actually covered, right, by protection and indemnity insurance. Okay, so that's basically it for now. So I should add that there is a 10 million deductible per occurrence, meaning per outbreak on a particular ship, right? So the cruise lines say, though, that they cannot assure us that they will receive insurance proceeds that will compensate them fully for their liabilities, costs, and expenses, right? Under the policies that they have in place, right? Like Carnival Cruise Line said, it has no insurance coverage for loss of revenue, wow, or earnings from its ships or other operations, right? So liability claims that go beyond $10 million are shared between members of the international group of P&I clubs through a claims pooling arrangement. So it's not singular. This is a pool. Now, that is something to consider again, right? So in addition to that, right, the group buys reinsurance, right? Reinsurance cover up to 3.1 billion in the open market. So all covered claims up to $100 million are pooled by the clubs and do not affect the reinsurance market coverage under the group excess of loss program, right? And this was stated by CEO of the International Group of P&I Clubs. That's Nick Shaw, and he's based in London, right? Above that group, the group has an annual aggregate deductible for the first $100 million of any claims which go above that 100 million pool claims limit. Okay, so it is still early days yet, right? So to say how much the COVID-19 claims will breach this $100 million barrier. All right, so I'll keep you abreast, keep you updated. And just a reminder, you're watching Depth, Not Just Headlines, with me, Deborah Anderson. Don't forget to subscribe.